By the way, my name is Rae Ellen. I decided to start introducing myself as the eclectic astrologer because I use all kinds of bits and pieces from all the astrology I learn, and I kind of mix it all together, and it comes out me. And it seems to work, And so this particular new moon that just happened a little while ago, what happens to a new moon is when the Earth's shadow stands in line with the moon, like you have the sun, and then you have the Earth in between the moon and the sun. So it looks like the moon is totally dark. But what that is a clean slate for us to have an opportunity to look at our deepest emotional self. And this particular new moon is like very, very powerful in the fact that it's has the energy of the cosmic divine feminine. And that seems to be the theme this week. And actually everything that's going to be happening has to do with nurturing, security, safe foundation, and all of that that's happening. And it's happening everywhere. And everything that comes up to oppose that is also going to be presented this week. So with a new moon, it's always time to make an intention of what you would like to work on for the next 28 days to the cycle of the new moon, because then in 14 days from now, we have the full moon. And so we get like what the intention that we set with the new moon is, we get the awareness of how it's working out in our lives. So I kind of want to review what we have been talking about the last couple sessions, because it kind of blends right into where we're at now, because we're taking all these steps that began a few months ago when we opened up the Sirian Stargate. And the Sirian Stargate is the sixth dimensional, from what I understand, it's sixth dimensional energy. That means it's our light body blueprint, okay? That said, humanity is going through a tremendous, tremendous shift right now. We're opening up to building a blueprint that has never been built before. We're going into a stage of manifestation. So that said, today, actually, around 11:30 tonight Eastern, and I'm not sure what time that will be in the different time zones, but I'm in the Eastern time zone. 11:30 tonight will be another big injection of this blueprint Sirian energy. It's coming through tonight. And then for the next couple days, the nodes are in astrology are kind of like invisible points. The nodes are kind of points that follow the eclipses around, where as the sun and the moon create their eclipses, there are nodal points, and they're like points in space where the sun is the crossing of the ecliptic. But this particular nodal point that's being acted right now is totally aligned with the Sirian Stargate. And it's in the sign of Aries, which means that all of us, in some way or another, have the opportunity to initiate what we have been wanting to manifest in our lives. So astrology is always potential energy. It means that if you don't take action on it, it doesn't mean it's not going to work. But if you take your own action on it, you have the ability to be a co-creator in what we're going through. So when I present things here in our little planetary encodements, I am just suggesting opportunities that we can take advantage of. And this week is going to take us further into that Syrian stargate, but we, each and every one of us, can be co-creators in that. And how can that happen? Well, what I am seeing is Pluto is a side of Capricorn. Pluto is the transformation of our structures, old structures that we have that no longer serve us. Pluto is also a transpersonal planet. What does that mean? That means that it affects the collective. The personal planets are like Mercury. That's the way we communicate with each other. Venus is what we love and what we appreciate, and what we want, our value system. It's what we want. It's what we want to manifest in our lives. Mars is where we want to initiate that, but Pluto affects the collective. So each and every one of us are a cell in the greater whole. So when we take opportunity to change different parts of the structures that we have in our life that we have been wanting to change, it's kind of like a domino effect. And even though we're so tiny in all of humanity and all of the cosmos, when we make change, a change for our truth, our most inner truth, our heartfelt truth, we affect everything around us. And I'm sure each of us have had the opportunity to make a change in their lives, and all of a sudden things change all around them. I'm sure each and every one of you have had that experience. But this week is going to be making changes in our structure to give us our sense of security, to give us a deeper foundation of where we are going, to get in touch with the divine feminine. And what does that mean? I think that I've been thinking about this. What is the divine feminine? And I often go back to the mother energy. And each one of us had a mother as we were growing up, and we may have had a positive experience with her, and we may have had a challenging experience with her. But needless to say, there is a concept of what the divine mother would be. I mean, if you had the perfect nurturing mother, what would that be? What would that look like? How would you create that? And maybe there were several mothers here. And maybe I know me, I oftentimes didn't always make the right choices with my children. No one teaches us to be the mother, but I think right now we can kind of go within ourselves. And if we had a choice right now to create that nurturing quality, that mothering quality, that loving quality, that heartfelt quality in our lives, how do we do that? So we have a chance to tap into what that might be. So that said, we would be tapping into the divine mother, the cosmic mother of all that is, change the structures that no longer serve us, and initiate a big change that's happening in our lives through the nodes. And it would affect the relationships around us. So not only is that happening, I think I brought up last month that we have Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. It's in Pisces right now. So not only do we tap into the divine mother, we have to do this not from our head center, but from our intuitive, deep centered self, our intuitive qualities within ourselves. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to see if anybody has any questions about what I'm saying or any comments about what I may be, reaching for right now, or teaching, or throwing out there to you.
So I have a question. This is Laura,
Yes.
about this Saturn that is in Pisces. What does that imply? And this is a ruler of Capricorn. So what does that mean?
Okay. What does that mean? We have the sun, and we have all the planets going around the sun. And then around the sun, we have the constellations.
Mm-hmm.
And each of the constellations that we relate to in our particular solar system, and we also relate to other constellations, but we relate to the astrological constellations. So that said, Mercury and Venus right now are in the constellation going around the sun in Leo.
Mm-hmm.
The sun and the moon are in the constellation of Cancer right now. Yeah. The new moon happened in Cancer. Mars is in the constellation of Virgo, and this is all around the sun. So you have the sun, and all of these planets are in particular constellations. So Jupiter is in the constellation of Taurus right now. So Jupiter is all about expansion. And so what is it? Is Jupiter in the constellation of Taurus means that we are expanding a part of our life to tell us what is valuable and what we want to manifest and what is not manifesting in our life. And usually it will blow things out of proportion. We have to find out our truth of what our true value system is. Jupiter gives us the opportunity to do that. Now, Saturn just moved in to the constellation of Pisces. And when it's in Pisces, it's defining. Saturn's all about defining. It's all about restructuring. And Pisces is all about our intuition, our connection with the collective. It's our connection with our inner selves. So Saturn going into Pisces helps us restructure that part inside of ourselves to tap into our intuition. Okay. Where are we not doing that? Yeah. Where could we do things better, where we could restructure our lives and listen to that intuition? We have 2.5 years to do this, because each of the planets go through constellations in different time periods. For instance, Mercury goes around the sun in about 88 days. Venus is probably comparable to the Earth. It takes about a year to go around the sun. So it touches each part of the constellation probably every month, except when it goes retrograde. Of course, our Earth, it takes a year to go around the sun. Mars takes 2 years in each sign, so it spends 2 years in each constellation. No, that's wrong. 2 years. Yeah, 2 years in each constellation. Okay. Jupiter, no, that's not right. That's not right. I got off here. Let's see. Mars takes 2 years to go around the sun. Okay. And I'm not sure exactly how long it spends in each of the constellations, come to think of it. I suppose if you divide, I would say probably 6 months in each constellation, because I think that would add up to 2 years, right? 6 times 2 is 12. So approximately 6 months in each constellation. Jupiter spends 1 year in each constellation. So it takes 12 years to go around the sun. And Saturn takes 28 years to go around the sun. So it spends 2.5 years. So for the next 2.5 years, Saturn is restructuring how we can tap into the intuitive knowing within ourselves. Now, the average person, I don't know if they would take the time to do this. But does that kind of answer your question, Laura?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. You know, all of us right now are just being affected by dynamic interactions with the cosmos, only because of the time period we are in with greater humanity, because greater humanity is going through a gigantic paradigm shift. And that's why each and every one of you are here, because you feel it, you taste it, you hear it, you know something's happened. You can't define what it is, but you know that we're on a great journey right now. And the interesting thing about this great journey is we have to take action and kind of know where you want to go, but kind of know where you're, like kind of like you have an inner sense of where each of every one of us, where our destiny lies. That's kind of looking for your moth to flame. What is your greater purpose? And you're tapping into that. And then you're utilizing these energies to develop that greater purpose, because all in all, at this particular time in humanity, we're not here for a long period of time. I mean, I guess there was times where we were here hundreds of years. But at this time, and humanity is living longer and longer and longer, but the more we become aware, the more we manifest the light in our body, the longer that we can enjoy this wonderful journey called life. There was something I think it was posted on Light Body or Rise of the Multidimensional. And I thought it was a wonderful metaphor for our lives. And it's about planting a tree. And when we plant a tree, we plant it knowing that we probably will not sit in the shade of that tree. But we know that we're planting the tree for something greater, for it to grow into. I mean, there are some trees that grow really fast, but a gigantic oak tree, or the gigantic redwoods or whatever it was, those were planted long ago and they came to be. And right now, they are witnessing this great change that we're going through, and it's happening on so many levels. We're going into the Sirian Stargate. Our whole solar system is going into the photon belt. And I repeat this over and over again, but there's the dynamics. 2012 happened. Things have changed since then. So we are going through another layer of this great change. And I feel like this week, we're tapping into that nurturing quality that we all would love to feel, safe around the people around us, but also that our greatest gift is to develop that so we can give it and then you receive it. It's reciprocal. There's a I'm not saying that word, reciprocal energy about it. So does all this make kind of sense to what I'm saying? This week, it's going to be a gigantic week of being able to witness this particular energy like right on. Because as the week goes on, all the way till July 22nd, the sun is going to be in exact opposition to Pluto. So the nurturing quality that we want to manifest, we are going to witness the structures that are in the way of that happening. We are going to witness what we want to change in our life. And humanity as a whole may witness how outdated financial systems have an opportunity. So not only will it happen on a microcosm in each of our lives, humanity and as a whole this week, different things will be up for us to maybe view. And when you see it happening, you'll know it's happening. So there could be changes in the financial systems. There could be changes in the educational systems. It could be changes in our military. It could be changes in our government. It could be changes in the health. So all of these things are going to be activated this week in some way or another. But the only thing that's important is what we want to restructure and change within our lives. What are those structures that have outdated themselves? Now, that said, also at the end of the week, we have the nodes, these invisible forces at work here. So all of these energies are happening in the cardinal signs. What are cardinal signs? The cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. When energy or harmonics happen in these signs, it means that we need to take action on something around us. And even if you are not an Aries or a Cancer, a Libra or a Capricorn, it still is going to affect you in some way or another because those points affect a certain part of your chart. So it's going to happen no matter what. And I think that you're going to see this by the end of the week. Now, another
Rae Ellen,
one.
what's happening? What is it that is going to happen in these signs? I missed that.
It's not necessarily these signs. Okay, each of these signs, cardinal signs, are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So
Okay.
cardinal signs always mean they are the initiators. So Aries always jumps in the frying pan before they think, but it's also the sign of innocence. Cancer is always a sign of nurturing. It's a sign of foundation. It's the sign of mothering. It's the sign of Libra is always about relationships. My relationship with you, my relationship with my spouse, my relationship with my children. There's always an interaction, you know, and then Capricorn is our structures. It has to do with how we live in the world, you know, how we manifest the way we take care of ourselves or the structures we put around us to live. It's how we initiate it's our integrity. It's all about that. Then we have the fixed signs. The fixed signs are the Taurians, the Leos, the Scorpios, and the Aquarians. They take what the cardinal signs initiate and they bring them down to a practical reality so they can manifest the energy of what the cardinal signs initiate. And then we have the mutable signs. They're the ambassadors. Those are the Gemini. Go on.
Sorry, could you say what the fixed signs are again?
The fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarians.
Thank you.
So Aries will initiate something, and then the Taurians will bring it to a practical reality so that you can package it, put it together, give it value, and take it out into the world. The Leos will take the energy and they will creatively take what is initiated and bring creative beauty to it, or how you can creatively manifest what you are initiating. They're putting the plan together. They're showing the diagram. They're bringing it to birth. They're birthing it. Scorpios are doing the detective work to find out why something works and why it doesn't work. They like to go in and find out what the intricate detail of is how everything works. They dive deep into, and they're the investigators. Okay, and the Aquarians, they take the energy and they bring a new twist to it. But they take whatever has been initiated, and you have and foundation and the relationship to it and how it is in the world, and the Aquarians will bring a reality to it. Like, did you ever look at it this way? And maybe we could do it, maybe they're trying to build a better mousetrap, whether it works or not, but they're the inventors. They're taking what you initiate and bringing different qualities to it. Then we have the ambassadors, which are the Geminis. They communicate. Hey, we initiated a new plan, and this is what it is. And so they're the advertisers, and they will talk to you about, well, it does this, and this, and then the Virgos will say, well, you can take this, and this, and this, and this is how it can affect you in your everyday life. And then you have the Sagittarians and say, this will help you in your everyday life, and this is, they bring truth to how it's going to manifest. They bring it to the greater whole and saying that when you do this in your everyday life, this is what kind of truth that you can create out of that. It's, the Sagittarius, they take the ideas. So it's the macrocosm. They can take something that maybe the Geminis are communicating it and bring it to a higher level of affecting the masses. And then you have the Pisces. They are the ones that help people get deeper inside of themselves, to help them develop their intuition. They have the intuitive qualities of saying, you may look at it this way, but deep inside of myself, I feel this, and this is what I sense about things. Now, I know that I'm talking about individual signs, but each and every one of us have all of those signs in our chart. So I personally I'm a Cancer, but I have my Mars in Libra, and I have my Saturn in Virgo. So we take all of these energies and we manifest them according to our unique signature within ourselves. So I hope this isn't too complicated. I hope this all makes sense.
Yeah.
Laurel?
The last 4 signs that you gave us, what are they? Like the one before that was fixed signs.
Gemini. Yeah. Okay. The mutable signs, those are the ones that are the communicators. They take it out. So Gemini, they're the ambassador. I always call them the ambassadors. Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces.
Thank you.
Thank you for explaining what they all do.
Excuse me?
I said thank you for explaining what
they
all
do. Well,
yeah, because I've heard of mutable, cardinal, and fixed, and like, okay, but that makes sense. Thank you.
Well, right now, for instance, Uranus, the planet, it breaks stuff up. It's in the fixed sign of Taurus. Uranus takes 7 years to go through a sign. So Taurians don't like to be, they like things safe. They like to have, like they have a way of doing things to make them safe, okay? And so when Uranus goes in there and breaks everything up, what it's doing for all of humanity right now is breaking up value systems so that we can initiate a new way of looking at it. So it gets us out of the groove. It gets us out of the groove of being stuck, so to speak.
Out of a rut.
Out of a rut, out of a rut. So what happened? We have particular value systems for the last 12 years, and all of a sudden, Uranus, right around 2021 or so, right when COVID was happening, it says, okay, we're going to shake things up here. And what has it done to the planet right now? It's giving people a new way of looking at things. It doesn't feel good because we felt safe the way we were doing things the way before. But Uranus going in there and shaking things up and saying, okay, let's shake things up so we can have some excitement in our lives, so we can look at things in a whole new perspective. So that's what it's been doing. Just like Saturn right now is helping us define and give us integrity of looking deep inside of ourselves and trusting our intuition. We're restructuring that so we can not look at things so rigidly. This is the way things are. This is what your education is. This is what science says. This is what the government says. But it's taking all of that and intuitively feeling, is this really right? Is this what I really feel? It's defining the way. So humanity right now has the opportunity to define what feels good and what does not. And if you're brave enough, you'll make that change. If you're brave enough, you'll go inside of yourself and tap into your intuition versus do things like you've always done them before, or not trust what you hear. You hear that inner voice. Oh, it may be right. It may not be right. But then all of a sudden, a little bit down, you'll say, oh my God, I should have listened to myself. That little voice oftentimes is very right. And we have the opportunity for now for the next year and a half to deeply go in and trust that little voice inside of our hearts. So, one other thing that's going to be happening this week, besides an opportune time to look at our blueprint and our light body in a whole different way, is the planet Venus is going to go retrograde on Saturday, July 22nd. So I've thought about that, and what does that mean? Venus is in the sign of Leo right now. Leo is a sign of creativity. It is a sign of love. It is a sign of children. It is a sign of innocence. And from now until the middle of September, we have an opportunity to find out that childlike quality within ourselves, that creative part of ourselves that we really love, and tap into our innocence at a whole new level. So it's another means of bringing value to that deepest innocent part of ourselves, that childlike quality of ourselves, and create something that makes us feel good, for us to want to play and have fun in what we're doing. Because I'm telling you, everything out here seems kind of challenging, and we kind of have to go in and have fun, because if we don't, it's just going to be very daunting right now. We have an opportunity to nurture ourselves in a brand new way. So the energies right now are about, and I wrote this down, if I would say anything, it's visiting that childlike quality within ourselves. And this is going to be starting to transform the structures that are no longer working in our lives and nurture ourselves the way a divine mother would, because we can tap into the divine cosmic mother. And if we had to start all over again, and if we were a young child, how would we nurture that child so that they had a secure foundation? And it's initiating all of that so that we can tap into the deepest essence within ourselves to feel the truth of who we are. It's all about tapping into that inner truth through the love and nurturing of the part of ourselves that may have been forgotten. And this week is going to be that week. The cosmic mother, the divine mother, is so right here this week. I mean, if we had to tap into anything, and the only way we can do that is, I mean, you can do that through meditation, but it's kind of like closing your eyes and going inside of yourself and saying, how would I do it? If I had a chance to start over and be the mother, what would I do to that around me to give myself a sense of security, foundation, and love? So does that ring true to anyone here? I mean, our biosuits, that biosuit is our vehicle that we travel and it's a vehicle that we travel around on the 3D plane. Okay. Now that's our little bodies here. And inside of our body, it's made up of water. It's made up of fire. It's made up of air. It's made up of space. It's made up of it's solid. It's 1% solid, actually. It's the rest of it's like space. But that suit is made up of minerals, and it's made up of light. It's made up of everything. So everything in all of the constellations, the stardust that has come down through the eons and eons and eons and eons, have created this sphere that we live on. And this sphere is developed to all the elements, but it utilizes all of those nutrients that have been in all the stars. So the star, we are really made up of star dust, but it's kind of like combined in a certain way that has been animated with a degree of consciousness. So that degree of consciousness has been developed. But you know, like the tiny little fungi and little bacteria that started way, way back billions and trillions of years ago had a consciousness to it, and little by little by little, it developed larger and larger and larger mechanisms till finally we have come to our human genome. And of course, we can take it farther on that we are also not only of this planet and star system, but we are also from other star systems. We're waking up to that. We're multi-dimensional, and we're waking up to the consciousness behind that. So everything that has been created is also reflected in our physical body. That's why when we take our first breath, we are impressed with that energy of our solar system and also the cosmos around us. It's an energy pattern that impresses on our body, and it gives us a way of our challenges, our gifts, the way we look at the world, way we perceive the world. And I kind of went over that the cardinal signs look at it a particular way, the fixed signs look at it a certain way, the mutable signs look at it a certain way. And then you had combination of all the planets, because all the planets are not in the same sign at the time of your birth. So we are a collection of the star systems, because each of the planets are in different constellations, and that is impressed on our physical body. And that's why we respond to the astrological influences as they are in relationship around our particular sun. But now we're going even farther, and we're going in to see our star seed consciousness. So I hope that explained it.
Oh yeah, thank you, Rae Ellen. That was really great.
The
I'm gonna
macrocosm and the
listen to it.
macrocosm and the microcosm.
Mm.
So we are a reflection, each and every one of us. Our physical biosuit is a reflection, and we chose to come in at a specific time to get specific experiences to be able to upgrade our biosuit to the highest potential. And not only that, all of humanity now has an extra opportunity to upgrade this biosuit to something that has never, ever happened before. And that's why this is such a uniquely dynamic time that is that has not happened. You know, humanity has always had its high points. So, you know, you talk about the cataclysms that happened, and we were a high level consciousness, and then there was a cataclysm, and then we were knocked down. But right now, it's always a spiral. Nothing ever comes back to the same spot. We're spiraling to something uniquely different, and each of us have an opportunity to tap into it in our unique way. And that's what the age of Aquarius is all about. So not only do we have our particular star sign, we are in an energy, an age of taking that unique quality that each and every one of us have as a group, that's group consciousness, as a collective. When we can tap into our highest truth, if I can tap into that, you can tap into that, Joe can tap into that, Elaine, Laurel, each one of us tap into that, we create the highest truth within our biosuit. What we do is radiate that light to each and every one of us. And when we can bring that to a high level, we have a synapse, and all of a sudden we rise to a higher level as a group.
Mm.
And that's what's happening as we speak. It's all very exciting.
Yeah.
And this week is going to be like, oh my God, we're going into a 2-year cycle of like, oh my God, warp speed. It's all speeding up. We are in warp speed right now.